Exciting. Beautiful. Welcome to the first Psychedelic Actualization Livestream. We'll start in about 15 minutes. I just wanted to check the technology, share the link with everybody, and do some breath work and do some rapé. And then we'll start. Oxen, welcome. Good to see you here, brother. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so how am I supposed to share this link? Hey, I take. Okay. Technology is such a weird thing. I'll talk a little bit about it in a bit.
Die Expedia-App steckt voller Angebote, die Sie sonst nirgendwo finden. Achten Sie einfach auf die...
Hey, follow the rabbit. Good to see you here. Welcome. Okay, so I shared the link on Instagram and on the YouTube community section. Hope everything is working well. 10 minutes, still we're gonna start. If you are here already, now we could do some breath work together and a little centering and meditation to fully arrive in this precious moment of our human experience. Okay. Oh. Thank you, Oxen. Always, yeah. Share the love and share the link. Okay. Follow the rabbit. First visit here. Driving at the moment. No idea what happens here. I have no idea what happens here as well. It's my first live stream, and what I plan to do today is to answer any questions that are coming up in the chat. Do a little breath work, meditation, centering, and then otherwise I'll share my story. I think that's a good start to build personal connection with the community. I'll just share the whole my story of like my psychedelic explorations, spiritual developments, and everything that seemed to be meaningful for me in my life. And also sharing a little bit more about this channel and the vision for the work I'm doing, and what exciting things are coming and what other options out there. So that's the plan for today. So a little centering breath work. Just 60 deep breath in and fully letting go. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Double the speed of your usual Wim Hof method for even more intense. Follow the rabbit. Don't do it while driving. Don't do it while driving. Only do it while sitting down or laying down. Okay, here we go. Halfway. Ten more. Fully out and holding the breath. Feeling the vibrations in the body. Fully arriving in the moment. Just being here now. If you're busy doing something else, be very present with your activities as well as you're listening to this or watching this live stream. I'll do some rapé. I do love my little rapé. It's a quite interesting one. I think the lines between seeing where addiction begins and where this usage of this plant and this substance is getting into a habitual use, seeing the line to that being beneficial and then to it being abused or kind of addictive behavior is a very fine line, especially with the rape for me. But I do feel like I can take breaks at times, so it's not that bad, and I do enjoy it, and I don't see any negative effects from it. Love from the universe, brother. Good to see you here. Golden era, 100%. By the way, I have no idea how I can put on some music during a live stream. If anybody knows, let me know if you want to listen to some music. Yeah, Oxen, fully in at the end, and then squeezing to hold it is a good, very good one as well. Takami, welcome, brother, Mr. Nature, shalom, peace and love to you, many blessings. If it's a conscious addiction and it benefits you, why not keep doing it? Well, maybe just to break the habit, to break the attachment to it in your mind. That's why it's good to sometimes take a little bit of a break. Okay, I'll start the story and my talking and the live stream in about 5 minutes. I'll just go into the rape for just a tiny little bit. Bear with me. Be present. Thank you, Mr. Nature. Enjoy the gym. some people are doing rapé while they are walking or while they are outside, and they just do it like, and then they go on with their life. And I'm like always like, how can you do that? I think that's where it gets into kind of a little bit of a habit or addiction behavior. I like to sit down and close my eyes and center myself while being in the experience. Okay. So heartfelt welcome to everybody in the space. Welcome to the first Psychedelic Actualization live stream. Exciting stuff. I've never done that before. I think it's a good way to connect with community, and I plan to do it every Sunday from now on. First of all, I hope the technology is working. I hope the camera quality is good and my microphone is close enough and you can hear me. And yeah, that's I guess that's a good first topic to talk about is technology and our relationship to it. Because I've been getting more aware of my usage with technology and also being in the space. Like a lot of my work and my life is around YouTube, is around creating content, is around connecting with people online. And also when you meet friends while traveling all over the world, it's good to be able to connect with them. It's beautiful. But also, back in the day when I was younger, I was into gaming or like loving technology. But the more I got into psychedelics and nature and everything, I can't keep up anymore. And now when I use technology, it's like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't even, sometimes I struggle even with Google Drive and stuff like that. So dealing with that is something that is quite difficult for me and which I do not enjoy doing. I do enjoy more being in life, in the present moment, in nature, not dealing with technology. And sometimes even lately I've been contemplating of like, well, this is the path I chose, to be present online and to create my body of work online. And it is something I'm very passionate about. But also I've been doing this kind of visualization of getting out of technology and imagining a life without technology, maybe even without a phone, maybe just for a little bit of communication, or without a laptop, and just like fully embracing life without technology, which is a little bit difficult in our society and civilization because everybody is so connected and it's such a part of our life. But I think I can imagine it would be a different experience of life without this kind of stuff. And I can see myself enjoying that as well and building a body of work outside of technology. But for now, I've chosen that path of being inside of technology and seeing how I can work with that. So there's pros and cons to it, because also a lot of beautiful stuff has come out of using technology and building this community. A lot of beautiful opportunities, a lot of meetups. It's incredibly beautiful to walk this path. I've been reading a little book, Hook Point, it's called, and it's a little bit outdated. It's from 2020, but he said there's on average, the average American is bombarded with 5,000 to 15,000 ads per day. That's incredible. There's more than 500 hours of content uploaded to YouTube every single minute. There's more than 40,000 songs uploaded to Spotify each day. There's more than 320,000 status updates every single minute on Facebook. It's like we are bombarded with updates, and it's incredible to just be aware of that, of this immense amount of information that we have access to. It's a very beneficial thing. It changed my life in a very positive way, but also overindulging in this kind of stuff can take our attention and awareness away from things that truly matter to us. And there's a tendency, I see in myself as well, in overindulging in information. I need to see the next thing, know the next secret, know the next technique that I can embody. Even though with all the information I've consumed, I kind of know what's good for me. I kind of know which habits are beneficial, and it's way more beneficial to actually do them, do the meditation, do the breath work, get out in nature, than to seek for the next thing, click on the next video, see the next update. So finding a balance in technology, I guess, is very, very beneficial. And yeah, structuring our life around that. I got into the habit of locking my phone away in the evening before I go to sleep, even a couple hours before I go to sleep, and a couple hours after I wake up, not having my phone, not having technology around me, and just really entering the day and ending the day in full presence with myself. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you have the discipline to actually do that without locking your phone away, beautiful. But I find at times it's very, very difficult. Okay. Jacob Cook, good to see you here, brother. Hey man, have you looked much at manifestation, law of attraction? I've been looking a lot into quantum jumping and reality shifting techniques recently, basically manifesting on steroids. I have looked into it quite a lot, yeah. A beautiful book I can recommend is The Science of Success by Wallace D. Wattles. I give the book away at the moment to a coaching client, and she's enjoying it a lot as well. It's kind of the forefather of the law of attraction and of The Secret that came out, and of Think and Grow Rich. And I have looked at manifestation quite a bit. There's also Neville Goddard, which I do enjoy. And it's interesting how it works. I haven't like fully embodied and understood how exactly it works, but I do understand the mechanism behind it as a very good one, as also embodying and feeling the state you want to experience in the future, experiencing it now, and supercharging method for manifestation is, I found, gratitude. Gratitude is such a big one. It's like, I think it's the core and only technique actually that I want to implement more in my life to supercharge kind of the process of manifestation. So focusing our attention on being extremely grateful, not just being grateful, but like feeling it and embodying it, and then looking at what you have, appreciating that, and that leads to this kind of anabolic building energy that automatically attracts more of that into your life. So yeah, interesting topic. Jürgen, good to see you here, brother. Are you going to ICPR this year? No, I am not going to ICPR this year. I have been last year, and I have been enjoying it, and I want to visit more psychedelic conferences. I'll but most likely I'll be at Breaking Convention next year. There's also a small Breaking Convention event this year, which I might check out. I'm not sure yet, in April. but yeah, psychedelic science, amazing stuff. Conferences are a great place to meet like-minded people, and a lot of fun and a lot of interesting stuff going on in the research. It's kind of in the baby ages of our psychedelic research. Some of the studies done are quite cute. It's like, we've interviewed 30 people who reported back that LSD is good for creativity. But also more interesting research is being done of like the Chris Timberman, for example, of mapping out the 5-MeO DMT space and the NN-DMT space. More research is being done, which I'm quite interested in the non-therapeutic field of like actually using those substances to enhance our self-actualization and our spiritual self-realization. That's the research I'm interested in. Jacob is asking, how's the Kundalini awakening going, and has it calmed down now? Yes, there's I guess there's 2 more videos coming that will wrap up my story, but for now I've recalibrated back into my old sense of self. I wouldn't call it even that, because it's kind of on the other side of something so magnificent, which I'm still integrating. But the heavy symptoms and this deep non-ordinary state of consciousness has calmed down. It took around 3 months after this 5-MeO DMT experience for it to calm down. I can still feel vibrations in my body, but I kind of got used to them so much that they don't bother me anymore, and I cannot really say or differentiate if this is part still of the cause of this experience, or if this is just part of my life now. And what is part of my life now is the tinnitus. I got tinnitus during that experience, and I still hear that quite strong. So that is something that I'm still aware of. But this deep emotional turmoil is not as intense anymore. So it has calmed down. And I have observed also, which is quite interesting, that I calibrate back into usual normal habits of myself. I have a clearer sense of myself again, and also my kind of egoistic mechanisms are back, which is, I guess, a good thing for now, because I was struggling without having this clear ego structure, and was not ready to kind of fully let go of that. So, but it's quite interesting. Regarding the tinnitus, I'm taking some supplements at the moment to try to reduce the sound, because there's still a little bit of a desire to get rid of that sound. So I'm taking magnesium and zinc and vitamin D3 and another kind of supplement which is good for calming the nervous system. Otherwise, I'm also fine with it being there. And then I'll probably look more into nada yoga, which is the yoga of sound. And some retreats and traditions also talk about this sound, and of using this sound, this high-pitched tinnitus sound, as an object for meditation, and focusing in on it so much that you kind of dissolve yourself, which is something very interesting. So the process of integration is going well, and I have learned a lot, and I'm trying to integrate the insights that I have learned in this kind of Kundalini awakening experience. But I have calibrated back. Yeah. At least you don't seem to be complaining about the tinnitus. Can I ask, is the tinnitus inherently annoying, or can you use it as a meditation frequency? Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I can use it as a meditation frequency. The times I've done it in my meditation, I couldn't get to a place of realization. I was just observing the sound, and it didn't intensify the meditation. and it's also not annoying me, so it's totally fine. But yeah, interesting phenomena which we as humans haven't understood that much. Because I did many checks and all the doctors were saying, I was like, it's definitely not something physical. Like it's not something in my ear, at least. It has something to do with something else. Have you ever had a breakthrough to a realm where the pleasure is on the level of MDMA? I always wondered if realms exist of infinite ecstasy. Do you mean without psychedelics? Because this space is obviously accessible with psychedelics, especially if you do the spiritual practices on psychedelics. Just with psychedelics, yeah, infinite ecstasy on the level of MDMA. I would say it's different. It's different with LSD or mushrooms or DMT, but there is definitely this possibility of experience of this infinite deep ecstasy. And it's in ecstasy is an interesting term as well, which we kind of need to define a little bit further, because ecstasy is not just like feeling good or our sense of self experiencing a sense of pleasure, but it's kind of a higher level bliss or joy that is being experienced, which is getting into these more deeper and infinite levels of ecstasy and bliss. So definitely possible, even possible without psychedelics. For example, in my spiritual crisis experience, I was in a singing circle, and then just singing this worship to the Lord is just like was getting me to a state of realization, and this state of realization is inducing this state of infinite ecstasy, of this deep bliss of knowing who you truly are, of tapping into your infinite nature, of going beyond yourself into the divine. And then ecstasy is kind of the natural result of that. And there's many different nuances to that state, because it can also take a different form, as like, for example, infinite peace, which is just very silent, or infinite emptiness, which is very empty by its nature. It can also be seen as ecstasy, but it's not this like ecstasy as we tend to imagine it. But especially sometimes in DMT or 5-MeO DMT experiences, acid, on these higher states of realization, there's this term of like a full body orgasm, of like feeling your whole body, like it feels like every pore of your being is in ecstasy and is having an orgasm, and it's so good. It is just so good. But also being part of the integration of that experience is, I think, a good part, or a very important part, is not to chase this experience. It is something we can work towards or we can induce with psychedelics, but I think we shouldn't expect it, or we shouldn't attach ourselves to this infinitely blissful ecstasy, because by the very nature of this experience, it is a peak experience. It is not something we are experiencing all the time in the intensity in that we're experiencing it to in psychedelic experiences. So realizing this state is very beneficial, but then also being aware that this state that we're in right now, this day-to-day human experience, it's also filled with bliss. It's also filled on a different level with joy, even though we sometimes feel these human emotions of suffering. I'm sick now for a month, and it's like sometimes it's not that fun from our human level perspective. But this state, this valley experience, this down experience, where we are not on the peak anymore, is not any worse or better than the peak experience. So not being attached to that and not being attached to this either. It's kind of going beyond both and then realizing that everything is part of it and everything is beautiful. And there's a certain sense of magic in all of our experiences. DJ Tryptamine, good to see you here. Tinnitus is the worst. I have it or notice it the worst when I'm trying to go to sleep. Yes. It is an interesting phenomenon, and some people do have a more difficult time with it. But I can say it's your attitude towards the sound. It's not the sound itself that is annoying. It is your attitude or perspective in response to experiencing the sound, which is leading to a sense of suffering. And yes, when I go to sleep, it's especially loud. I can hear it in silent situations. For example, right now, I'm not having any loud stimuli, so I can hear the sound very intensely. But yeah, I guess the first step is kind of working on your attitude towards an experience and this appearance of an experience, where you can regulate and come to peace with it for yourself, and then you can work from there. Oxen, please, can you share your thoughts on what happened to Connor Murphy? Same thing happened almost with Leo Gura and myself. I call it spiritual psychosis. This is a very, very interesting topic to me. I have observed this phenomena with Connor Murphy. And I haven't looked very deeply into it. Same with Leo Gura. I think he does have a more grounded approach to the psychedelic experience. And yourself, spiritual psychosis. It's a very interesting topic. That's for sure. I'm not sure what I can say to that. I think, which is obvious from observing Connor Murphy and myself and many other people, is that there is a real possibility of entering into a state of spiritual psychosis by using a lot of psychedelics. And then the question becomes on how effective are you in integrating that experience? And how is it benefiting your life? Which is where it gets a little bit more tricky. Because, for example, with Connor Murphy, from what I've observed, is at a certain period of time, he had a difficult time integrating it. And he was also not seeing himself that it was not beneficial to him anymore. Maybe it was in a certain sense, but if you harm yourself in a certain way or other people, and you are not okay, and you feel that you are not okay, then that becomes an issue. And then the issue is on integrating that experience. And if we get too far out of the deep end, which is, I guess, something that is not suited for most people. So I'm even questioning myself if it's for me to go into these deeper and deeper and deeper levels of the psychedelic experience. I think it's just for a very small amount of people, it's the right thing, and they can handle it in a way where they get a benefit out of this for their own self-realization and for their own path. So if we are able to use these experiences with a certain frequency of using them, and actually are able to build up a life for ourselves where we are able to survive, where we are not harming anybody, and where we are happy with the trajectory of our integration of these experiences and this state that we're experiencing, then I guess that would be fine. But if we sense that we have difficulty, I don't know, getting food, earning money, handling our life, tapping into human relationships with other people, and kind of these more dangerous symptoms are unfolding in our life, then that becomes a problem. And the first thing is to just be aware of that. And this is, I guess, what Leo Gura is doing a little bit better, of like being aware that he has gone very far in some experiences, in some of his 12 to 30 day 5-MeO DMT retreats, which are just unimaginable. And then he is able to say, okay, like this is enough. I'll take a break for now and try to integrate that into my understanding and experience, and not over crossing the line into psychosis. Hey, Eric, good to see you here. Sending love back to you. Wow, now we're like 40 minutes into this thing and I haven't even started to share my story of what I actually plan to share. Thanks for all the comments. Amazing, beautiful. I enjoyed this. If you have any more questions or comments, leave them in the chat and I'm very happy to answer them. What I planned to share in this live stream was my journey, my psychedelic journey of all the explorations and how my path has evolved, and also a little bit more about my plans for psychedelic actualization, the body of work that I want to build and what I'm doing right now. Which one are you more interested in? Kind of the future of this channel and everything exciting that's going to come, or my psychedelic story from the start? Right in the chat. I'll just share a little bit about psychedelic actualization first. So where should I start? Hi, Simon. Good to see you. So the future of psychedelic actualization. I have been actually holding back on making great YouTube videos. I mean, I have been publishing consistently every single week, but on the side for the last 2 to 3 years, I have been kind of working on researching a course on psychedelic actualization, on like how to use psychedelic substances in a responsible manner with the aim of furthering the process of self-actualization and self-realization. And I have this whole course structure of this course that I wanted to create. And I read, I don't know, probably around 50 to 100 books around psychedelics. I've visited the conferences. And what I came to realize is that the actual course that I wanted to create on this topic, with the vision I have in mind, it's just too big. It's too overwhelming for me to put this course together, and it would take decades to put it out in the way that I would envision it to put it out. So then I kind of made the decision a couple of weeks ago to just focus on one single topic and kind of transform that into a course, into a mini course of like psychedelic integration. But even just the aspect of psychedelic integration is such a huge topic. It's a humongous topic with a lot of nuance to it as well. And I do have, through this whole studying of the field, the desire to present it in the most holistic way and in the most integrative way possible, with everything that's needed included in that thing, which is impossible because I realized everyone has a different perspective on this topic, and it's such a unique and personal thing on how we integrate. And actually, the integration is our life, and our life is a very unique and individual thing. So it's very hard to put anything together in a cohesive way that works for a lot of people, which is kind of the difficulty I've encountered in this work. On the side, I am doing a coach training program, which is very exciting. I'm learning about the skill of coaching, and it's a really interesting one. And it is something that is presented in our online world today in a lot of different ways. A lot of different people are calling themselves coaches or offering coaching services, but what they're actually doing is not really the skill of coaching or the true meaning and the root of coaching, but they're doing more like consulting, mentoring, or some other kind of stuff. So coaching is more like this facilitative process of recognizing the divine wisdom in the other person, keeping the space as the coach themselves, so that I do not know anything about your life and what's best for you. You know what's best for you and what's for your life, what's best for your own path. And I hold the space and facilitate the process of getting new insights and getting new inspiration and motivation and perspectives on. Can you see this? Oh, this is ridiculous. Now I'm just giving you a screen. I'll answer the last few questions, and I guess then I'll just end the stream. Doing 8 grams is so nice. It's scary as well. Still haven't done over 3.5 yet. I feel the mushrooms are calling me. Again, also in lower doses. When did exactly your journey started, and what was the reason behind it? So my journey started. Oh man, it's it's so sad that the camera is not working anymore. I guess the easiest thing would be to start a new live stream. And then I can select a different webcam. Do you feel better while joining the new live stream and losing this one? And I'll have a different camera? Or is it fine with you just having the sound of what I'm saying and looking at my funny little screen on the computer? That's why I did the first live stream now, to figure out technological issues. Maybe I'll just talk a little bit about what's best for you. Good question. Yeah, I have no idea how to fix it. Well, that's fine. Let's just keep it here, and I'll answer this one question, and then I'll end the stream. Okay, when did exactly your journey start, and what was the reason behind it? So my journey started when I was 15, and I somehow stumbled across Alan Watts and Terence McKenna and Ram Dass on YouTube at the same time. And I was intrigued by what they were saying. I guess it started a little bit earlier when I was in school, and I was getting into philosophy by myself at the age of 15. And I was getting into existentialism and nihilism. And that made me really depressive and depressed. And I was not enjoying it, but I was enjoying the expansion of my philosophy and of my worldview. And that was kind of breaking out of the conventional train of thought that everybody was thinking. And then I stumbled across Terence McKenna and Alan Watts and Ram Dass, and it was so interesting because Terence McKenna talked about psychedelics from the shamanic perspective, and Ram Dass talked about psychedelics in combination with Hinduism and his path of Bhakti yoga. And Alan Watts talked about psychedelics as well with the angle of Zen Buddhism. And then, yeah, I got interested in all of those, and that's where kind of my spiritual path started. So I remember I was sitting in school reading Be Here Now by Ram Dass. I was reading a little bit of Zen Buddhism, and then I got my hands on some LSD at the same time, and I had my first experience alone. And I was reading Zen Buddhism at the same time as I was experiencing my first LSD experience. I was watching a TED talk by some guru where he was talking about samadhi during my first LSD experiences, and I was getting glimpses of what I was reading, and it made so much sense to me, and that changed my whole perspective on life, and it ignited kind of my passion for life itself, and showed me kind of true appreciation for the beauty of existence. And then it developed over time into my first mushroom experience. I remembered I heard the advice from Terence McKenna of like, the problem is not that you're not doing too many psychedelics, it's that you take too little. So it's 5 grams in silent darkness. And I was 16, I was hearing that, and I was taking 5 grams in silent darkness, and it scared the shit out of me. But nevertheless, I was still interested in exploring psychedelic space, and also instantly kind of connected it to my path of self-actualization and self-realization. So yeah, that is the way my journey started, and it has developed over time. Maybe I'll go into my story a little bit more next week on Sunday, and I'll also shoot a video about my journey in a more comprehensive way, because there's so many more details to this journey and how it developed over time. But that was kind of the core start of it, which just shifted everything. And then it got into this kind of honeymoon phase of psychedelics and the desire to like, I'm gonna be a shaman, because I drank ayahuasca for 3 days and it showed me true self-love, and that whole path of like committing myself to the path of facilitating those experiences is also a very interesting one, because then my first thought was, okay, then I will have to go deeper myself to be able to feel more comfortable sharing this experience as well. And the deeper I got, the more I could recognize my own impurities over the years, and the more I see how deep this path of self-realization really goes. And yeah, taking the responsibility to hold that space for other people. I'm not there yet, and there's even doubts in my mind to the commitment to this path, but also increased respect for all the people who have journeyed so far. So it's a very interesting path, and I think it requires a lot of commitment and maturity and responsibility. Yeah, but on the other hand, there's a part of me, even though in most of my psychedelic experiences now, like I am suffering through a lot, and I'm purging a lot, and I am getting aware of some deep rooted fears and getting disturbed by some transpersonal experiences. There's this part of me that is like that is eternally grateful for what these psychedelic substances have given me at the start of this journey and are still giving me from time to time. So I feel kind of a devotion and commitment to bring this medicine out into the world as well, but also in the most responsible and mature way possible, educating people about the dangers, the very real dangers that come with going deeper into this kind of work. And yeah, making people aware of techniques or ways to increase the benefit of the psychedelic experience for their own development and decrease the risk of the psychedelic experience with the whole path of preparation, with the whole path of proper integration, with the whole path of even skillfully navigating the experience and having beneficial playlists in place and having kind of protocols on how to actually navigate the space to get to deeper levels of realization and get real benefit and insight out of these states. Great, Baugi. Good to see you here, brother. Hope you're doing well. I think you published your first book, Baugi Stories. Go check him out. I think it's a German book, but good to see you here. DJ Tryptamine. LSD was my first experience, and while on that experience, I found a video of Terence McKenna talking about DMT. Yes, in a lot of my early LSD experiences, and LSD was also my first one, besides cannabis. I also, the way I was going about tripping was very funny because I was going about tripping, actually going on YouTube and then also like watching stuff like Alan Watts. Like while having my first LSD experiences, I was watching Alan Watts talking about psychedelics. I was watching Terence McKenna. Um, I think this video is still online. Yeah, Terence McKenna, Trust Yourself. A very popular video. And it shifted my perspective on a lot of things. I was looking at Ram Dass and Eckhart Tolle talking to each other while being on LSD. I was listening to a lot of Bentinho Massaro and kind of enjoying getting into these states of realization during the LSD experience. Also listening to music with lyrics. I was getting into medicine music during my first LSD experiences, and with these lyrics, I was kind of lucky to have discovered those, right, and not kind of listening to lower vibrational music. But I discovered Ajit and Fia or different kind of medicine songs of people in the ayahuasca community, Ayla Schäfer, and those were inducing states of deep personal healing in myself and opening up a lot of different insights for me. So LSD, eternally grateful for it in my heart, and also to all these people on YouTube who share their wisdom and even guided me through some of my journeys. Nowadays, I shifted kind of my attitude more towards a protocol of laying down with an eye mask, as we see, and just like being in my bed with an eye mask and a therapy playlist I have created for myself, mostly with either lyrics that I do not understand or instrument music, and then just going into that space, or being in nature, also completely great. And less guided things, because in those kind of states, I guess we can tap more into authentic insights, not because we are very receptive in those states, not believing anything anybody else said, even though I'm eternally grateful from some perspective I have taken on from other people, but actually generating authentic insight into the nature of reality for ourselves, um, which is, I guess, only possible if we, not only, but it's more authentic if we do not have any external input. It's good to educate ourselves before the experience, take on some concepts or theories for ourselves, and then contemplate or question them during our experience. But yeah, being in it, as Kalindi Ye said, especially in the higher doses, going from the alone into the alone, being in it alone and really meeting yourself and all of your insecurities and your true courage and ability to surrender and let go into those states of whatever they want to show you is highly, highly effective. DJ Tryptamine will never forget that first one. Complete ego death and had a paradigm shift. Thought I lost my mind and was never coming back. Yeah, I can relate to that. And one of my first experiences, I was listening to this guy here, Dada Gunamuktananda, and his tech talk, Consciousness, the Final Frontier.
The benefits of a
At the end, he was doing this
now feel that you are completely
his
at
guided
peace
meditation
with the infinite awareness around you.
of getting into samadhi, basically. And I entered this state for the first time, and it was remarkable. Also, definitely paradigm shift for me. Hey, Michael, good to see you, my friend. Glad you're enjoying the first live stream, even though the camera is gone since 20 minutes. It gave up its spirit, even though it's on and it's working, but apparently it's not connected to my YouTube live stream anymore. I'll have to figure something out for the next one. I tried DMT for the first time outside in daytime not too long ago because of your video taking it outside. Yeah. In my first DMT experiences, I was inside. I was having a trip sitter as well, just to check out the space. But even there, I wasn't able to really feel anything from it. It was quite interesting because I was smoking quite a good amount. I think there's a video on my channel about it as well, where I talked about my first DMT experiences. And I was smoking, and I just saw subtle changes in my consciousness, but nothing really significant. Here, my first DMT experiences. And then I went outside for a bit more, and it's magical. It's absolutely magical. In my first DMT experiences as well, I like to open my eyes in nature. I have a very few closed eye visuals with DMT. Even though the intensity of the experience is immense, but when I'm in nature and I open my eyes, I most of the time the experience for me is one of infinite awe and beauty, and it's there's this sense of sacred geometry, and it's just so good. It's so beautiful. That's the main insight I've got from my DMT explorations, like really appreciating the beauty of existence, really appreciating it. Takami, nature for sure is the best setting for an earthling. If you feel at home in nature, I agree. But I also sense that in certain experiences, I like to have a safe space. I like to have a safe space at home, maybe even inside, or like partly in nature or partly in home, at home. Because in nature, there's a lot of unpredictability. And if things get really rough, I mean, like really, really, really rough, I like to have my bed and a safe space that I do know. But yeah, being in nature, especially in those lower dose experiences, is such a great experience. Um, but with the higher doses, I think it can also be immensely beautiful. I've had some very, very beautiful experiences, but it increases the danger a lot as well. um, of like having some stupid ideas, getting lost, not taking care or not being well prepared enough, of having enough food or water. Um, yeah, there's a lot of unpredictability in nature as well. So has its ups and downs. I guess it's a matter of preference, but I would say for the higher doses, what I like to do is start inside and then go outside if I feel like this is the time to go outside now. Yeah. DJ, good to see you here. Have you worked with the Salvia plant? What are your thoughts on using it? It's a good one. Thanks for. I have tried it once. Um, there's a video on the channel as well of my first Salvia experience. Um, it was a very interesting one. And I remember coming out of the experience. Here it is. I was transformed into a picture, and it was hitting me from the left side, and I was catapulted into the screen, into this picture, and I was scared that people were gonna click me away and not look at me. It's such a weird experience. But when I was coming out of that experience, I remember, because it was just the 10x extract, um, 0.1 grams, and it was so intense. It was at the time more intense than any of my DMT experiences, and even when I was coming out, even more visual than my DMT experiences. So I was gaining this immense respect for it, as well as a little curiosity to explore it further. But still, now 2 to 3 years later, I still haven't gone back to the Salvia experience, which is interesting, right? But because you gotta be really careful in exploring it. And from most people, what I heard is they do not enjoy the experience. It's kind of a dysphoric experience for them, and in worst cases, they even kind of go away from this experience with a subtle sense of PTSD, or like what have I read recently? It's not post traumatic stress disorder, but post traumatic shamanic initiation disorder, something like that. Um, but I feel the desire and the call to go back again. Also with the longer experience of having the leaves in your mouth and getting into those longer experiences, or making a tea out of it, and then slowly building a relationship with that plant. I'm curious in exploring that phase, that plant further. I have a friend of mine and some people on YouTube as well, and some people I've met who do enjoy the Salvia experience, and they do get a very beneficial insights for themselves out of it. I've met one guy that was that was a funny one. He is kind of a hardcore psychonaut, has tried over 100 different psychedelic compounds, and salvia was one of his favorites. And when I was asking him like, why is salvia one of his favorites, and he was like, wait, well, when you imagine you do enjoy horror movies, and you are addicted to seeking the most horrendous movies you can watch. It's like, that's salvia for me, and I'm that kind of guy. So I do seek the most disturbing kinds of experiences, and salvia is providing exactly that, and that's why he is enjoying it so much. But for others, it does benefit them in like their healing journey as well, or in their metaphysical explorations. I'll answer the last few questions. If you have any last few questions, I'll run through them and then I'll end the stream. DJ Trip to me, what herb do you use when you make changa? I've only freebased it in a rig. There's a lot of different herbs. My friend is an expert in making changa, and I've just seen him do it, so I'm not like into the process that deep myself. But I'll have to look it up actually, what he was putting in there. I think one was the ayahuasca, just a certain amount of the ayahuasca. One was rose, was also a good one. I'm trying to look it up at the moment. But I can't seem to find it. Maybe a little bit of Damiana as well. Nope, it's gone. I'll let you know if I find it out. 90% of my salvia trips are fun time. You have to respect the plant, though. Yes, definitely, you have to respect the plant. And interesting that 90% of them are fun for you. So it makes me excited to try it out further. I feel drawn to trying salvia and changa together. Careful what you wish for, but and start with very, 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 very low doses. I think that's very uncharted territory. But quite curious. Let me know how it goes. Gary, one love to you, brother. Good to see you. Maybe you can help me with figuring out why my camera is not working. So in podcasts, I think in our one as well, that we did, and also here now in the live stream after 40 minutes, my camera, I don't know if it overheated or crashed, but when I restarted it is working, but YouTube is not recognizing it anymore. No, I'm not using OBS. I'm using the Camlink 4K, and then I was choosing the Camlink 4K as the webcam device for the YouTube stream. And once it crashed, I cannot change it anymore. And I think I'll have to restart the stream to actually get the camera going again. So now I'm sitting here for like half an hour without any kind of video. But yeah, would be nice to figure it out for next week. Camlink can be reliable. Yes. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, I do have OBS on my computer. And I'll keep that in mind and try that next week. Thanks for for the advice. Okay, guys, thanks, man. That was beautiful. Beautiful to see all of you here. I have enjoyed this live stream a lot. Good to connect with all of you. For anybody who's interested, I do offer a free one-on-one call. I'm getting into coaching at the moment. Even if you just have something you want to discuss, you can book a call with me, and I would love to get into conversation with you. And I'm practicing the skill of coaching at the moment. That's why I'm offering my coaching services for certain people who might be interested for a certain amount of time for free. And I have worked with a couple of people and have enjoyed it, and they have enjoyed it as well, and getting amazing results. So if that is something you might be interested in, you can book a free call. And for the future of this channel, I plan to publish the course content, everything that I've planned for my course, which is a lot. I'm planning to publish that for free. So you can see a little bit in my thing. There's hundreds and hundreds of pages on what to do and how to prepare for psychedelic experiences, and I plan to just publish all of this valuable content. You can't even imagine how immensely educational it is, for free on the YouTube platform. And exciting things are coming in the future. I'll try to be here every Sunday for the live stream to hang out with you a little bit more. And I might plan, if I can get the camera fixed, to start a psychedelic integration podcast in the future as well. So a lot of exciting stuff is coming for everybody. And yeah, I love you all. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. Much love, and I'll see you in the next one.